Thank you. My name is Birk Baehr. I'm 14 years old, and I'm a youth food advocate for organic and sustainable farming. I've been learning about this subject for about 6 years now. I started out as a curious 8-year-old kid, as many third graders are, simply asking questions. And I find that's how many of us come across certain topics, is just by asking questions about a subject that we know hardly anything about. So I was 8, and I got up one morning, and my mom was on the computer. And I go over to see what she's doing, and on the home page of her email site, there was an article that simply stated, "Mercury found in high fructose corn syrup." And I knew what mercury was from 3rd grade science, and all my friends telling me, "Oh, don't break a thermometer in your mouth, it has mercury in it, it's gonna hurt you." But I had no clue what high fructose corn syrup was. So my first idea was, okay, mom probably knows, ask mom. And so I go, "Okay, Mom, what is high fructose corn syrup?" And she thinks for a second, and she goes, "You know, Burke, the only thing I can really think it's in is the sweetener used in sodas." And as an 8-year-old kid, my ears in my head started turning, and I go, why is there something that could hurt us in our food? And I go, well, I'm not going to drink sodas anymore. And that really led to a lot of research and a lot of digging into what we eat and what's in our food system. So I started going to the grocery store more often with my mom and paying attention to what she bought and what we ate. I started reading the ingredients labels and finding out that high fructose corn syrup was not only in sodas, but it was in everything from hamburger buns, salad dressings, peanut butter, ketchup, just a massive list that was unimaginable to me at that age. But as I read these ingredients labels, I not only saw high fructose corn syrup everywhere, but I saw these ingredients that looked more like science experiments and something that we should be eating. So I began taking a notepad to the grocery store, and I would write down these ingredients. And I would go home and use Google and try to find out what these ingredients were. And I started finding connections. These ingredients that I would have never been able to pronounce were normally byproducts of corn, soy, cotton, or canola. And I was like, whoa, this has connections. And I'm like, how is all this stuff getting into our food? And I never knew this. So I decided that I wanted to research how our food system starts, from the very seed that is planted into the ground to the way it's transported and processed, and how it eventually ends up on our dinner table. So it led me to find out about things like GMO, genetically modified organisms, pesticides and herbicides, chemical fertilizers, food monopolies, and the bureaucracy of food. And as I learned these things, I felt deceived. I felt betrayed by these cartoon characters and these companies that I thought I trusted as a little kid. I thought Toucan Sam and Tony the Tiger were my best friends. So at that age, I was really distraught. So I began talking to my friends and family about what I was eating, what they're eating, and that we need to change and we need to eat healthier. After so many years of research, and after about 3 years of researching this subject, my mom was a fan of TED, Technology, Education, and Design, on Facebook. And there was a post from a TEDx event in Asheville, North Carolina, that said, "Hey, all you youth, you teens, come out, and if you have an idea where they're spreading, please send in a form, and we'll try to give you a stage so that you can share what you believe in." And I read the form, and it said ages 13 to 19. I go, oh my God, I can't do it. I'm only 11 at the time. And my mom says, well, you've always been interested in food, and you want to tell people about what you've been learning. So, why don't you just send in a form, and we'll see how it goes. And I did the form. It was a 5-page or 5-minute overview of sort of me rambling on about the food system, what I knew off the top of my head, and a page overview of what I wanted to talk about. And 5 months later, I was speaking on the stage of the Orange Peel in Asheville, North Carolina, about what's wrong with our food system and how we can make a difference. That was 3 years ago. And ever since then, in that talk, it has led to so many amazing and wonderful opportunities. The talk, a month after my speech, was posted on YouTube, and it went viral. Within the first month, it had over 100,000 views, and I believe now, the number is around 3 million. And it's been amazing what the internet and what opportunities can do for you. Because I would have never thought in a million years that I would have gotten to what I'm doing today. I remember before I did my talk that I told my mom that if only 300 people watched my talk, that'd be 300 more people eating organic, buying local, looking for healthy food, and that would be enough of a change for me. And so the opportunities that have come away from that talk have been amazing, and I could have never thought that would have happened to me in a million years. So, since then, a lot of stuff has happened since that talk. I've been to Italy, I've been to California, I believe 5 times. I've gone all around the country talking at food conferences, big and small. I talk to as many groups and many events as I possibly can. I don't believe in just taking the big ticket items. I believe in talking to everything from small businessmen, conferences like Civitan or Sotarmo clubs and Lions clubs that they have in the United States, to schools, and I do go to large agriculture conferences too, trying to get the big farmers listening. So I think my main mission here is to get people and everyone thinking about food. These days, food is, I believe in my observation, that food is such an underrated thing. It is so important. We can't live without it, and we must have it, at least 3 times a day. And without food, we eventually die. And the fact that most people, especially in America where I live, most people only think about food two or three things. They wonder how much fat it has in it, how many calories, and whether it's on sale or not. So I think my main mission is to change the way and the ideals of how people think about the idea of food. Instead of how much it costs, we should be thinking about what type of ingredients are in there, how it was processed, how the animals or the products are treated. Not only that, but we should also know the people who produce our food. Because many of the people that I meet that say, oh, organic food is too expensive, it's out of my budget. I believe that if you can't afford organic, meet with your farmers, go to farmers markets. And people who aren't certified organic, you can meet them in person. And many of the farmers I know in my local area will say, oh yes, if you want to, we can definitely come, and you can come over and have a tour at my farm. We can go and plant some vegetables, and you can see how I grow food. And if you're not, if you don't like it, then that's fine. But if you do, I definitely would be glad to have you as a customer for a long time. And so I find that there's so many different ways of connecting with people, and I think that the main mission now is not only connecting with adults, but we should also connect with children and make it popular for children to eat healthy. I've talked in many schools now, and especially here with my visit in Russia, and that I found that kids are learning about healthy foods, but they feel like it's always a lecture from their parents. Oh, you gotta eat broccoli. But really, I think once you understand and you do the research, that food can be a very interesting thing, and it can also, as you do the education and you teach yourself, it can open up so many new ideas and new opportunities. And so my last tip that I would give people would be that educate yourself. I have my own personal opinions and I have my own personal stories, but I try to present information and education to people out there so that they can start becoming curious like I was at 8 years old, and go out and research the food system, research a topic that they're interested in, and then maybe they'll form their own opinions and make a difference too. So I believe education is one of the most important things, and self-education is so important. So I encourage everyone out there to go and be curious and find something new. Thank you.